right, so I'll get right into it. With my presentation here today, I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach. I'm going to kind of move away from the more technical side of the theme of the presentation. I'm going to go a little bit more broad, and I'm going to speak about drone technology, but also really just innovation and technology in a greater sense. So when Wild and Pine first started, I guess, promoting drone technology in forestry back in 2016, it was met with a ton of resistance. For two reasons, kind of the knee-jerk reaction of job loss, and then second is just like a whole bunch of other new technologies, drone technology was actually creepy. It was really only used in two different senses: military applications and if you wanted to spy on your neighbor, which is kind of funny. So we felt a lot of resistance when we first introduced this technology to the forest industry, but every innovation that starts as creepy, and then as it becomes ultra efficient, it actually becomes the norm. And I'll break that down a little bit for you guys. So when the internet first came out, everyone here in the room probably said that they would never put their credit card on the internet. Yet we all have our credit cards on the internet right now, right? When Facebook came out, everyone was like, oh my gosh, I can see who's poking each other, who's friending who's in different relationships, yet we all have Facebook. Show of hands here, who has bought or sold something on Kijiji or Craigslist? Pretty much everybody. So when you're making that transaction on Kijiji or Craigslist, in the back of your mind, you're actually hoping that that person is not a serial killer. And the reason that we do this is because we choose efficiency over trust every single day, all day long. And we're willing to go out of our comfort zone because we are actually obsessed with speed. And I'm going to give a little bit more context to this. So this here is actually a flyer from Radio Shack in 1991. I was only 1 year old at the time, so I definitely don't remember this. But all these things, and this flyer here is all the things that they wanted to sell. We have a all-weather stereo, AM/FM clock, a cell phone, a calculator. So in 1991, if you wanted to buy all these things, it would actually cost you $3,152.82, and that was on sale. So now we can get all these things in our pocket. This is the new flyer. We can get the weather, we can get maps, we can get news, and we can actually get health data all on our phone. So how am I going to translate this over to the forest industry? So last night what I did was I actually took a couple job postings off the Canadian Forest website. And some of the tasks include block layout, GPS traversing, stream classification, and timber cruising, and more. So it begs the question, in 20 years, are we going to be having the same conversation that I had with the Radio Shack flyer and the smartphone with jobs in forestry and drones? How does that make people feel? Are we concerned about job losses with the introduction of new technology? So luckily, again, with the internet, it can help us solve that question. So what I did was, if you want to know if your job is going to get disrupted or your kid's job is going to get disrupted, there's a great website out there called willrobotstakemyjob.com. And so I played around with it a little bit. First, I put in physicians and doctors, and probably totally safe, as we can assume. They're not going anywhere. Next, I put in lawyers. Again, just like doctors, totally safe. Lawyers aren't going anywhere. So anybody getting a little nervous now? Maybe? No, but next I put in accounting, actually. And in the accounting world, it's an industry that's highly susceptible to disruption. Accountants are doomed. That's really interesting. So when we look at this, maybe think to yourself, like, should accountants be fearful? Are they completely doomed? Is the accounting profession not a good profession to get into? So I'm fairly fortunate in my advisory board. I actually have two very high-profile accountants. One is the president of CPA Alberta, and next is on the board of directors for ATB Financial. So what I did yesterday was I actually called them up, and I asked what they thought on new automation and new disruption and new technology coming into the accounting world. and what they thought about it, and were they fearful? And the answer was actually no. Accountants are really embracing this change of pace. And why are they doing that? It's because it allows them to focus on what really matters. Things like being creative, things like financial planning, strategic development. It allows accountants to be accountants again. Because it eliminates tasks that every accountant hates doing, like data entry and annual reporting. So when we look at forestry, we are somewhere sitting in the middle. There's a lot of aspects of our business that could be automated and probably will be disrupted. So how do we feel about this? Are we fearful that jobs will be lost, or are we excited now that we actually have the ability to practice forestry in a more precise manner and double down on the things that actually matter, like our stakeholders, like the public, our employees, and actually being creative in the job that we do? And I would actually argue it's the latter, because I feel that walking a cut block for the 100th time and doing data entry is the worst part of our jobs. So I really think that as foresters, we can welcome this change of pace. So some of the takeaways here is that I believe automation, AI, and machine learning is going to be the greatest thing to ever happen to the forest industry, because it lets us focus on the things that actually matter. So when one of these wonderful service companies approach you guys, or even if you have a staff member within your organization that expresses creativity for using automation or drones or any kind of new innovative technology, I suggest that we welcome them with open arms, because when we remove all the boring pieces of our job, all that we're left with is the creative work. Thank you.